Hi, welcome back to Nine Brothers Hobbies. Today we are going to do a little something different. Going to do a little unboxing video. Somebody in the comments had suggested we take a look at Dungeons and Lasers or Archon Studios stuff, and I just so happened to have a bunch. I got 3 of their various miniatures from their stretch goal line from their last kind of scatter terrain series, and yeah, we're gonna crack these boxes open and see what's good. Here we are with box number 1 of the stretch goals. I picked the stretch goals because there's so much going on in this box, and I thought it would be a better kind of look at what's to offer for their kind of miniatures. You can see now we have some ghosts and some other figures in here alongside the usual scatter terrain that I'm used to with them. I have bought some of their stuff before, their Rampart terrain series. I really enjoyed Squidmar kind of introduced me to them and their stuff, and you get a lot in this box, just like you do in those boxes. Highly recommend if you're looking for terrain, check out Rampart. But let's get to these ones. This first box does come with a lot of miscellaneous scatter and some test pieces for their Dungeons and Lasers line, like that spider web there. But we do have inside this sarcophagus a little guy. Really enjoying that. Lots of tiny details all over these. Very unique sculpts, and I love that about this company, at least in regards to their scatter and their kind of rubble terrain. There's a lot going on. They give you a lot of choice, a lot of scatter, and it's just super cool. Here they have another random scatter piece. We have all kinds of little pots and things you can put together, like this arbalist, right? Massive crossbow, ballista. Lots of little things you can put together. I find that the sprues are well done. They pack a lot in there, and I've kind of never been disappointed with the space that they have going on. This weird Fabergé egg thing, maybe it's a dragon egg. You can see here now we're starting to get some of the miniatures now that we're 4 sprues deep into this stretch goal one. Got a little couple rats in there, and this training dummy is pretty cool. Again, these scatter terrain options, the kind of miscellaneous pieces, the uniqueness and variety is just awesome in the stuff from Archon Studios. So here now we're starting to get into the miniatures. We got a knight here. Lots just packed onto this sprue. The detail on these guys. Look at this dude's 6-pack. He is shred. I think that's an 8-pack there. Got some webbing for whatever kind of amphibious or monstrous creature guy. If you have tryptophobia, beware of that mouthpiece. Lots of little bulges and defects and stuff. This giant frog is super cool. The underside has like a dude poking out of it like he's been eaten. There's like a big guy inside. Lots of really, again, look at this. Another one of the giant miniatures that's included in this box. So much detail on those larger figures. They cram so many little unique features. Here's his head. Just all kinds of little things in there. They just do so good with that. And with these miniatures, this is kind of like their first foray into like actual miniatures. I'm just blown away by the amount of detail that they've put into these sculpts and crammed onto these sprues. I feel like the plastic is affordable and whatnot, and like with the technology they're using and the materials they're using, they're cramming so much detail in there in like a budget-friendly way. These bases are so crunchy, so cool. Love it. Now we are jumping into the second box. I'm really looking forward to this guy. Really interesting set of characters here. You can see this box is filled with a lot more characters, lots of villagers and town folks that they've now released on their website since this Kickstarter. Again, another cool guy right here. But since releasing that Scatter Terrain Kickstarter, all these figures have kind of been released slow burn in their own individual themed boxes. This one is crammed full. Look at all these bases. Love these bases. I'm glad we get to see a lot more bases than were on the the last sprue. You can see here, you can see the detail a lot better on like that cobblestone one and whatnot than the transparent plastic from before. Lots of just incredible, unique designs, the goopy ones, carpets, trap doors. Look at that. There's even little rows of like farmer um, fields and stuff. Just incredible amount of detail, incredibly unique. Again, like just the amount of identity they're cramming onto this sprue and cramming into such a small space is awesome. I love the detail on these enemies here. Look at that sword, so good. The guts inside the zombie. Everything's really, again, like I'm so pleasantly surprised with the quality and quantity and absolute detail in these guys. There's so much going on. I don't know how much there is more to say other than like check out the detail. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look what's going on here. Um, I expected the quality when backing the Scatter Terrain series to be good because I had the experience with Rampart, but to see them kind of go beyond that and like next level, like this is way better than their terrain that I had previously. Like they've leveled up since then, absolutely. With what they've put out in this first steps into miniature making, I'm not surprised that they've been hitting home runs with like Masters of the Universe and the StarCraft announcement. Like it's no wonder. Again, this second box has just so much identity to it. There's lots of little villagers and NPCs, lots of people you can use for, random encounters or interesting kit bashes or to fill out your game board or town scene or dungeon or what have you with just really interesting, varied, unique characters. The variety of monsters too, like this Jinn, is super cool as well. Like they're really giving you such a kind of tasting board, I guess, of like monster manual creatures, like touch of goblins, touch of orcs, touch of undead, couple bandits, and then elementals and monstrosities, big guys, medium guys, little guys. It's just kind of all in there among the civilians. There's the hat to that dude I'm really interested in. Looks like a mimic person almost, like really interesting, goopy kind of dude. And then, of course, Howard the Duck Barbarian, can't go wrong there. Again, just kind of goes towards the creativity that's included in this set, which is now, of course, released as themed boxes on their website and whatnot. Love this little goblin guy down here. Just like there's little guys hidden all over the place on these sprues, like complete or just one piece guys. There's that awesome kind of construct golem. I would love to check out. Super cool. Really chunky, easy sculpt. I really dig it. You can even see on some of these accessories, like that crossbow at the very bottom, like they're not missing even thin little strings, and you got to be careful cutting them out and whatnot. But again, just the amount of detail is so good. All right, on to our third and last box for the stretch goal boxes. And let's check it out. This one is more scatter terrain, obviously, so we have a lot of kind of furniture items, miscellaneous, but we do have a couple more unique characters to go through that they've kind of put in here. So let's check that out. Now, there's not as many sprues in this one, but what it does come with is an instruction manual. So if you got these stretch goals, you do have this really awesome, clear instruction manual going over, how to put all these guys together with some nice photos of everybody completed. Makes me think if you get their themed sets that it'll include instructions as well. Here we have some more scatter terrain. Love me a little bearskin rug and a bed and a wash tub. Like the kind of house furniture you do need if you're doing, like a tavern or really want to populate a little town and have it look nice. these big bags and sacks of, I think, I want to say it's treasure. It might not be treasure. It looks like treasure. Could be painted as potatoes. Who knows? But just big sacks and bags and whatnot and things you can put around a house is always good in my mind. Here we have, I think, a little corpse for scattering around. We'll see. Have to see how that kind of gets put together as it's all cut out eventually. But I think it might be a little corpse token. But finally, here we get to the actual minis. This one is a lot more elementals or like larger fiends and stuff mixed in with, I think, a lot more of the sort of obscure kind of guys you're going to deal with, like underwater dudes or demons and whatnot. Regardless, though, some pretty chunky and detailed figures. The wind one is a lot to put together, but I think we'll give it some cool structure. This one is our water elemental, real goopy, vicious kind of waves rippling through the whole body going on. Really dig that. Everything's sort of like layered, and building. You can see all the waves rippling up and down all over the place. Really cool there. This sprue has a big old demon I'm interested in. Chonky dude with a huge old sword. Really like that. He's kind of a Diablo looking guy. Really digging that, as well as some barbarians and other kind of warriors interspersed throughout. Now that we've looked through all of the boxes, let's put a couple together and kind of critique how well they come together, how well they build, how easy they are, as well as what they look like completed and whole and on the table, eh? So for our first figure, I chose to make this little, what is this, like a dapper mimic? Some kind of alien noble kind of creature. I love his little squiggly arms he's got going on, big old noodly arms. It was a little tricky to figure out how he would stand on the smaller kind of 25 mil base, but once I figured it out, it was okay. Little bumps all over those sleeves, lots of interesting little details like that hanging down amulet he's got going on, and the empty space between his coat and his amulet and his inside legs. Like everything's coming together to give you a lot of depth and interest on that miniature. Really loved it. Came together well. Here's a paladin, I think is what they called it in the instructions as I put them together. Minimal flash on both of those, both these miniatures. Put together really easy, really simple. I don't think the instructions were that needed. You can see here, though, on the Paladin, this is, I guess, the side effect of having things so easily and readily injection molded and whatnot. Underneath that pauldron, it's a big chunk of space. So while there is a lot of detail going on, it seems like not everything can be caught. There will be some side effects for this kind of mass production. You can see scaling here now for like a Lord of the Rings Aragorn. They are 28 mil kind of true D&D sizes, so the more heroic scale of something like Hero Quest, obviously they will be dwarfed in comparison. But if you're using them for any sort of like normal 28 mil D&D style stuff, they will fit right in. Here we have, couldn't resist putting together this guy. Just two pieces. This little, they called him Childish Roblino, little goblin guy. It was just his mug of beer, and that was it to put together. But they do have a tavern base. I thought it went well together. He's kind of in the middle of a party, just looking cool. Again, lots of detail on this tiny little guy. He's about the size of a Lord of the Rings hobbit, and I feel like he's giving just as much detail as those guys. So here he is compared to our Paladin. Again, like minimal flash, easy cleanup. I'd say the biggest thing is just like with their Rampart terrain that I've had experience with before, there is a lot of tabs to clip. There is a lot of injection tabs to clip. And on this big demon, there was a lot. So if you are new to the hobby, I'm not sure you want these miniatures to be your first. There is a lot to clean up. There is a lot to clip. There is a lot to test fit and put together and glue and with all the little nubs and whatnot, yeah, there's a lot to clean up and smooth out. This might not be the most beginner-friendly model kits. That said, though, 100% worth it. Look at this guy. Look, they put little leather straps in between the big two pieces of his pauldron that go together. That attention to detail is so fun. While he might not be as I don't know, detailed as something from Warhammer Games Workshop, debatable. I think he's still so chock full of like attention. It is awesome. And you can see the scale on this guy. There are tons of miniatures in these stretch goal boxes that are like large scale, varying sizes. Like the amount of different sized figures, the variety is super welcome. For those of you who wanted it, I'm sorry I didn't build any of the ghosts. I just didn't think they would show up well on camera, but the plastic is just as good, the sculpts are just as cool, and they're just as easy to put together. Big shout out to the patrons. Your guys' support is always welcome, always thankful for you guys tagging along on this journey. Thanks to everybody who is liking, subscribing, commenting, especially commenting, especially since this was an idea that came from the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. We got more hobby and painting videos coming soon. Bye-bye!